Okay, let's dive straight in. So I got a message the other day from someone on my Instagram asking me, they said, I'm going to the gym later. What should I do? Do you have any basic workouts posted anywhere? And my response, yeah, it sucked. It wasn't the nicest, but it honestly was the best piece of advice I could give. So we're going to get into why I gave that response and what that is in this podcast today. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to another brand new Rugby Muscle Podcast. I'm your host as always, TJ. And before we dive into my response, thank you so much for everyone that has given us 5 stars on Spotify. I'm going to check now. We have over 100 5-star reviews. That is amazing. If you can add yours, if you haven't done so already, hit those 3 dots and select review, rate review, I'm not sure what it is, and hit 5 stars. If you're watching on the podcast, give a thumbs up right now. It really does help out the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below as a response to what I'm about to get into in this video. Thank you so much. Oh, and if you haven't done so already, why are you not subscribed? We're going to give you these new podcasts every single week. We're going to get in more in depth, and we're also going to do a lot more frequently of these shorter ones just to keep giving you the best info that I can. So yeah, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do. Now, proper knobhead answer coming up, right? I said, I don't have any workouts because basically any session that you do is going to be good. And yeah, it wasn't the nicest. It wasn't the response that she was after, but she actually did thank me, the person that asked this question, because it actually was the best advice that I could give. Because the algorithm on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, it always hypes up stuff like different workouts. That's the stuff that does really well, especially if someone is absolutely jacked and they're sharing their sessions. Algorithms love that stuff because people watching love that stuff because they think if I do that one workout, I'm going to look like that. But the reality is that real results, when you're looking for improving your rugby performance, we're looking at strength, we're looking at speed, aerobic conditioning, we're looking at becoming more powerful. All that stuff only comes when you strategically and consistently target a specific stimulus. Best way for you to sort of accept this and see this in your head is to think about if you took 2 twins, right, and they were 24 and in their 20s, one of them did one workout once, right? Is that one twin going to be any stronger or fitter or anything like that? No, not if they did one workout once. What if they did 6 months of workouts just before you measured to see who was going to be fitter? Yes, one of them would be significantly better, right? But it wouldn't be because of one session. It would be because of the accumulation, that continual exposure to the training that made their body adapt. If that person did 6 months of workouts 5 years previous and then went back to being normal, maybe there's a small difference there, but you can see how it's a continual exposure allowing you to then expose yourself to more stimulus, allowing you to improve more. Think of it like investing money. You wouldn't build wealth by putting a couple quid into your savings once. You just maybe get an extra few pennies at most, or you wouldn't. You'd have to just withdraw it and then spend that money. You build wealth by regularly and consistently adding money into your not savings account, into your investment account, and continually making those small investments over and over and over and letting those compound into something big. Now, I don't know too much about investing, but I do know about training, and that works exactly the same way. Regular, consistent effort that then compounds over time, that allows you to do more, that allows you to then put more in, invest more, and that compounds and compounds and compounds. And this is how you need to think about your training, right? Even if it's the one best session ever, it's the same as like investing into the perfect stock business, I don't know, or the imperfectly invested account. If you only just invest once, or you invest 1 quid, or even 10 quid, or even $1,000, it's only going to return once from you, right? So that's just one session. Your change happens over a long period of time. And even over that long period of time, your strengths, your weaknesses, your life demands, your goals, all that stuff is going to evolve. So then your training needs are going to evolve as well. Everything in this situation needs context, right? So I remember when I first started training, I got obsessed with the 300 workout. The movie 300 was just coming out, and it was like early stages CrossFit. And they had this 300 workout. It was 300 reps. I can't really remember exactly what it was. It was, I know there was like a barbell leg wipers lift. I know that there was some sort of barbell or dumbbell windmill. I really don't remember the ins and outs of the workout, but I do know it was brutal. And whilst I guess it was effective, it was only one workout. And actually, it wasn't even a workout. It was supposed to be a test. The guys that were training for the movie did loads of different sessions, again, akin to CrossFit, and they got into ridiculous shape. But because they did lots of different sessions, because they varied it, because they targeted what they needed to do, and they pushed themselves. And at the end of the day, their specific output that they wanted was to be quite fit, but also to look aesthetic for the movie. This workout that was actually a test didn't end up being the magic pill that I hoped it was. And reality is, that's what I was looking for. I wasn't looking to progress over months and months and strategically target the weaknesses that I had as a rugby player. I was looking for, okay, this workout is so much better than the other, so if I do this all the time, then I'm going to get the best results. And that's just not how it works, right? It's the same for you. If you're constantly chasing a perfect workout, copying random sessions from social media or jumping on whatever trendy protocol there is or challenge, you're just looking for that magic pill, that one thing that's so much better than others that you don't need to do the months of strategic, targeted, proper training that gets you the real results. And that's what gets you real results. It's chasing months and months of consistency, not isolated special sessions that are going to give you something like amazing. I even think about it when I give the analogy of when I use primal workouts for my athletes in season. I don't even necessarily do it so that they can have the best game the day following that primal workout. I do it because months and months of those primal workouts are going to add more power to their training week and their overall body to allow them to train and be better. That's it. It's not necessarily for that one session after. Although I do think there is some sort of CNS drive that helps, but it's like maybe a percentage, at most. Really, the training results come from months of continual stimulus. So let's run through a few examples of how this would work with the different elements of rugby strength and conditioning. So for strength, if you lift a heavy weight, your body needs to adapt to that. So that heavy weight sends a stimulus that not only do you need to coordinate those muscles better so that you can perform that exercise more efficiently the next time that you do it, but you can also produce more force by it's just a neural adaptation that the body will make in order to produce more force. Over time, you'll also be able to build more muscle fibers that will enable you to produce more force, because again, if you've got more fibers, it's more tissue to contract and produce force. The more efficient you can contract those extra fibers, the stronger that you're going to be. Right, so we're chasing two endpoints of strength, and there's even more with that, but there's lots of different ways we can get into it. I'm not going to get into it in today's episode. For speed, right, if you sprint, that stimulates the nervous system to fire in order to sprint more efficiently. The more you do it, the more your body figures out a way to produce and coordinate that force rapidly in the direction that you're going, which makes you faster. If you expose yourself to different sprinting drills, that allows you to then produce that force in a more coordinated manner, which will then lead to you sprinting faster over time as well. For aerobic conditioning, you run for a longer distance or you do the bike for a longer period of time at the controlled intensities, and that's going to increase the heart's ability to pump blood around the body and therefore be more efficient at producing energy over a longer period of time. It will also increase the mitochondrial density of your muscles, again, significantly improving your ability to produce more and more and more force over longer periods of time. And then for mobility, if you are regularly moving really well and pushing your ranges of motion and getting stronger, your body is then going to permit that greater range of motion, knowing that it doesn't trigger sort of a protective mechanism that comes into play with a lot of mobility, and then will allow you to access those ranges of motion kind of it's like your neural system gives you more trust to know that you can access those big ranges of motion without hurting yourself, without causing any damage to the structure of the body, and therefore allows you to become more and more and more flexible, right? If you take a good way to think about flexibility and mobility, particularly for how we want to pursue it as rugby players, not trying to do the splits or anything crazy, is if you take someone who is unconscious or even like a dead body, a cadaver, and you move those arms into all sorts of places, you can see that a limp body is going to be way more flexible than an awake body or your own body when you're trying to move it. It's not because those muscles necessarily are tight. It's because there is a neural protective mechanism in place that stops you from accessing those ranges of motion. Because if you take that limp body, move it in all those different extreme movements, and then you wake them up, they're going to be sore because you've put their body into positions that have exposed it. You need to train your body to be okay to being exposed to those ranges of motion. And then agility is like a combination of the mobility and the speed stuff that we've touched on already. So you practice stepping, you practice moving, and then obviously if you can add that into a game, you practice reacting to what your opponent does to then produce better reactions, better actions that you will take on the pitch to lead to better outcomes. And so that is a real nerdy way of saying this is why I don't post random sessions online and say, hey, you should try this session, because one session just does not lead to the outcomes that you think it does or that you want it to lead to. Instead, what you need to do is have a clear objective from what you want for the long term and then build towards those. You should then have a clear idea of what you should be doing within each month, within each week, and within each different session. And they should all interrelate to each other to coordinate and build over a long term the results that you are after. Okay? And the clearer you can get on what you want to achieve, the clearer you can get on what you want to do every single week and every single session, the more that you don't have to search through Instagram or search through Google to figure out one session, and that, like, the less emphasis you put on every single session. So it gives you less stress, more confidence with what you want to do, and more of an idea of how you should approach your training from a long-term mindset. So it helps you not just get the sessions done that you need to get done, but also remove the pressure of, this session has to be perfect, or I got sick this week, all my gains are gone. That's not how it works. I personally have been struck down with tonsillitis this week and I haven't trained at all. Am I really bummed out? I'll be honest, actually, I am a little bit bummed out, but I'm not beating myself up because I'm thinking, oh no, I've lost all the progress I could possibly get. I've got to start again. It's just not how it works. Okay. So that's the podcast. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to preach here. I hope this was a message that you wanted to hear and that really works for you. If it is and you haven't done so already, give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you in the next one.